Who in the hell gets up at 5 a.m.? That's probably the question I get asked the most since I joined and am a part of the 5 a.m. club. So this marks the very, 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 very close date of me starting to wake up at 5 a.m. Now there's this brilliant book, in case you haven't heard of it, it's called The 5 a.m. Club. It's by Robin Sharma. It's a brilliant book. I can't touch on everything that's in it because there's so much information, but the gist of it is to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, before the sun is up, before people are awake, and connect to yourself. To do something that is deep and meaningful for you before the chaos of the world takes over. So 5 a.m. sounds crazy, right? And to be honest with you, I get up at 4:40. 4:40 a.m. is when I get up because I like to utilize the whole time. The 5 a.m. club is essentially a 1-hour routine that you run. And I want to be able to do a couple of things before 5 a.m. hits, and I can do what's called the 20-20-20 formula. I'll get in a little more detail about that in a little bit. But essentially, I came across this book through some crazy synchronicities when my awakening started happening, when my personal transformation started happening. I started reading it. I heard Robin Sharma on a podcast, and I knew it was for me. I knew I had to do it. Didn't care if it was 5 a.m. It was something deep and spiritual about his words and about, finding my own greatness, about, becoming a better human. That made me I ordered the book right after I heard the podcast. His words just spoke to me. And so at first it was difficult. It was very, very difficult. I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't really have, before I started waking up at 5 a.m., I had zero routine. I didn't do anything. I woke up, I went to work, I woke up, whatever. The life just happened to me. I never stopped to take a break or slow down and do things for me before the kids started waking me up or any of those type of things. So what I started doing is I started implementing the strategies in his book. And he talks about in the book how anyone can basically do it, right? Whether you're a morning person, whether you're a night person, whatever type of person you are, if you never wake up early, he basically says that's bullshit. And he gives a bunch of reasons why. And one of them is called the 66-day formula, or 66 days till it becomes automaticity or automatic for you. So essentially what you do is you commit for 66 days straight to wake up at, for me it's 4:40 or 5 o'clock for some people, and then you just start waking up at that point after the 66 days are up. And it's true. It's absolutely true. It actually happened to me before 66 days. I just wake up now super early. And basically what it is, it's a 20-20-20 formula, and I just want to give a little bit of detail about what it is. So the first 20 minutes, so I start at 5 a.m., it's called Move. So I do an intense workout. Whether it's like a HIIT workout or if I go for a run, I basically do that for 20 minutes. Then I do the other pocket from 5:20 to 5:40, which is basically you reflect. For me, that means meditation. That means doing a gratitude practice. That means visualizing my future. And then the last 20 minutes, that's when you grow. So that's like reading a book, listening to a podcast, setting up your day for success. It can be any number of things that kind of set you up for, success. But you do those pockets and you do it and you can't imagine your life without it. It is the most beautiful experience now. I feel off when I don't wake up at 5 a.m. or 4:40 and I do my morning routine. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times now that I've kind of put this into my system and it's a part of who I am. I guess I, not initialize it. I can't think of the word, but initiated. It's part of who I am, but I do allow myself leeway, of course. Like there are times when I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give myself some extra hours sleep tonight. I'm going to stay up a little bit late. And I'm going to, I'll sleep in a little bit. There are times, of course, that I do that. One of the big questions before I kind of go a little more into the 20-20 formula and the 5 a.m. club in general and what my thoughts are of it, I think you can kind of tell, is a lot of people have asked me, well, what time do you go to sleep? Like, what do you do the night before? And that's a very kind of important thing too, because there is definitely, you need to formulate a nighttime routine. Now, Robin Sharma in his book, he talks about a nighttime routine. I don't necessarily follow that routine. It is something that I want to get into, but with kids and a lot of things going on at night, I have to kind of do my own little condensed version of it. But basically for me, I'm a person who needs 8 hours of sleep. So I go to sleep at 8:30, 8:45, 9 o'clock, somewhere around there. That's what works for me. Then I wake up at 4:40 and I'm ready to go. And so, but for some people, it can be different. A lot of people I know I don't know a lot of people who do this, but there are millions of people who do it. They go to sleep at 10 and they wake up at 5. 7 hours is enough for them. That doesn't work for me. I need 8 hours. It's just kind of how I roll. And so that's a really important thing that I do too. And what I do, and I'm really trying to initiate now, is no screen time. I like to read a book for a half hour before I go to sleep, kind of just lower the vibe, lower the pressure on the day. I get in and I write in a journal and I talk about the amazing things that have happened in my day, and then I go to sleep. So I try to get off my phone now. I haven't gotten perfect at that. I still have times where I linger on my phone, I'm scrolling, I'm watching TV. Sometimes it just sounds so nice to hang out with my wife and snuggle and do all those types of things and watch a movie. So there are times when that breaks. But a lot of people do ask me, well, if you're getting up at 5, what time are you going to sleep? Because it can be very daunting to get up at that time. But yeah, so for me, that's the time that I do it. And, doing it for a year, basically consistently. I got pretty sick one time, a couple times actually, in it where I kind of had to take not just regular type of sickness where I slept in and I took time off and did that type of stuff to rest and recuperate. But I mean, I cannot recommend 5 a.m. enough. I think it's fantastic. I think the move, reflect, and grow formula, the 20-20-20 formula, is just so amazing. And if you have kids, you don't have any time, right? You don't have any time. You're dealing with kids from the time they wake up to the time they go to sleep. And by the time they go to sleep, you're wiped out, especially if you're a stay-at-home parent. Even if you're not, if you're at work and then you come home to kids, all that type of stuff, right? And that's the brilliance for me of the 5 a.m. Club, because it gives me an hour of just me time, an hour of getting my exercise in, drinking a lot of water, meditating, feeling gratitude for my life, reading a podcast, listening to a podcast, reading a book. I mean, if I could just get everyone to understand the benefits of this, it's just such self-care, it's such self-love, it's such growth, it's such opportunity. And I have so many amazing ideas and experiences. And when I go out for a run and it's 5 o'clock and it's a full moon and not a cloud in the sky and nobody's out, I mean, you are connected to something greater than yourself. For me, it's a very spiritual time. It doesn't have to be that way for you though. It can be just a time when you are just being productive and getting in your zone and getting in your flow. I mean, it's just beneficial for everyone. But for me, I mean, I'm connecting with source. I'm connecting with something deeper than myself. It's allowing me to understand there's more than just me. It's hard to put it into words. It is a very spiritual experience for me. So I think you can probably tell that I am a huge advocate for the 5 a.m. Club after basically a year, like I stated, of doing this. I mean, I give it the biggest thumbs up. It is a life-changing protocol. It is a life-changing formula. And like I mentioned earlier, the book there's just so much information in there. There's so many valuable tools for productivity and excelling and and becoming your highest self. And if I can tell you at the end of the book, the last 20 pages or so is mind-blowing stuff. It's some deep insights from a really brilliant man who knows a lot of amazing stuff. And I'll save that part for you. But let me tell you, when the book closed out, I think it was about the last 25 pages, I mean, I was blown away. I had to read it again. So the 5 a.m. Club, do it. It might sound daunting. It might sound crazy. But I promise you, once you install it into your system and it becomes a part of who you are, you won't be able to live your life without it. It coats you in radness and amazingness. Anyways, I hope I see you guys next week. Have a great Sunday, and I will see you soon.